Hello. Hi. This is Rev Ma Vera Joy, taking an evasive breath. Helps to calm and center the body. I'm a medium and an empath, a trained spiritual guide, and a shamanic guide. And I'm also pretty much a hermit. So I'm really shy and nervous about putting this up. And um, but because of my training as a spirit guide through my life, through how spirit has brought people to me to guide, and shown me how to refine myself to be a better guide for the messages that come through for people. Um, because of that training over my life, and because of the call to serve now, to offer clarity at this time, I'm recording myself, and I have a public office that I'm offering as the Reverend Mother. And so I have some personal sharings that are part of my uh, living of you are your own medicine. And as you are your own medicine, um, sharing your story is part of being medicine for yourself and others. So I am getting ready to share some pretty intense stuff for a lot of people. It's intense for me too, but um, I handle things differently because I'm a medium and an empath, and I'm trained as a spiritual healer, as a teacher, and as a guide for spiritual development. And a lot of people might think of that as coaching, or might think of that as a lot of other things, but around like the coaching kind of stuff, and personal development. And a lot of people think about or perceive of a lot of what I communicate about in those types of ways. But that's not how I'm communicating, you know. Um, I've only done a small amount of coaching, like professional coaching and professional coaching training. And I was on my spiritual path and my training as a spiritual guide long before the notion of personal coaching came around. So my approach to spirituality and spiritual development is a little different than what you're used to. And so I just want to forewarn you and give you an introduction to me and how I am. And so I'm getting ready to share some really personal stuff that most people will never share, especially not on social media. Um, but I have been specifically asked, like not even asked, urged to share about day 2 of my contact and communication with this man named Patrick, who has been assigned to investigate or to assess a referral. And he is from the Children and Family Services Department. And this is, I was expecting him last week. No, today. What's today? Wednesday. Yeah. but it was the holiday. So but it like what I want to say is that um when we came back, because we came back from some events we were at, and when we came back, he was here. He walked up, and for me that was good. That was good for me because he came in right as we were coming in because I was ready to be done. So, like with the day, and so when he came in, it was like perfect. Now I don't have to fucking not now. I can just deal with you now. I don't have to deal with you later. After we've all gotten comfortable in our skin, we're still wearing presentable outside clothes. So here you go, sir. So because then something that I have done with him is I'm very careful with my body language because where I live, um, there's there's a lot of violence in this neighborhood, and I grew up in South Central, and I never had a problem. And I say that you know for people who know what that really means. And I never had a problem because I was a metalhead, a goth and a pagan, you know, and I was always dressed like that. I was always dressed like that. And I was always more interested in my music and my books and what I was studying, even if it was, studying band interviews and stuff. I was more interested in what I was doing in that world than in the toxicity that got brought in with low quality hip hop, you know. So I remember when all this crap was brought into our culture in the street, like just specifically the crap of low quality hip hop, that has I remember the moment that I watched it change the way that my peers were interacting with each other when I was in 6th grade. I remember that. And I remember being like, what else is available? Okay, I'm gonna go and hang out with the rockers. What is this? This has to be better than that. And then just stuck around with that. So, I shared that kind of perspective, because because when I spoke to him the first time, I made it very clear that I understand why people make these phone calls, you know, and that I have compassion for people who I didn't say it like that, but I basically said, for people who make these kind of phone calls and who do it, I know that people do it out of a sense of not knowing what else to do and thinking then that's the best thing that they can do for whatever scheme of what resources they're trying to acquire, you know. So, people just see me, the person who called just saw me as another uh, threat that needed to be neutralized because in her mind she's having an episode and everybody is against her, you know. So I understand, you know, and obviously, it's a lot to deal with. But if I'm honest, um, everybody has dealt with it. So I think it's important to not take it personal, you know, and to really be clear about what is available. And one of the primary prayers or requests that I made for a while, um, and made it a habit that I barely think about now is what is available for me here. And when I'm in a situation that seems like it's just a bunch of crap, what I ask is, what all is available for me here? And that helps me step out of my own myopia when I ask for that. So, what all is available for me here? What all is available for me here? And that always helps me to realize that the gifts that are available and the opportunities that I'm just like, So, um, another thing that I did today when I invited him in was that when I decided I had some questions I wanted to ask him to make sure I was clear about what his thought process was, I sat down so that I was below his chin, you know. And that's an intuitive thing, because what I have found is that when I start to make decisions in my mind about what I'm going to do, it affects my energy. And then it affects other people's energy, you know? And so what I've noticed is that when I start to formulate something that is going to be perceived as threatening to any part of them, that they start to bristle. And so in noticing that, I move to a place that is going to reduce, right, the tension of the energy. And so what I've observed is that that turns into, oh my God, this is so funny. What I have observed is that that turns into, this is yarn for a loom I bought because I was, trying to use a loom, and make little purses and stuff with the kids. But, it turned into this. So, and this was me trying to keep it neat. They discovered it, and the loom has been used as swords. But this is, it's important to have color. And I say that because I'm a metalhead and a goth, and you know, I, how do I say this? I remember the moment when this woman pulled me aside, another student, but she was an older woman, and this was in community college. An older woman pulled me aside, and she explained to me that you have to have color in your energy field. So she was like, you have to stop wearing all black. She was like, you have to start wearing more color, you know? And so this is that medicine of having the whole color wheel for the eyes and for the senses. And people get caught up in the rainbow because they get just so trashed in the overlay about rainbow. But the rainbow belongs to every single person. The rainbow is something that naturally occurs. And the rainbow is something that is used to mean all people and all things and the diversity of life. And it means that outside of any of all those overlays about it only meaning queer and gay. And so let's free the colors, like they're all here to heal. That's what the rainbow conduit is about. It's about all the colors being available to heal people and clearing people out, because that's the transmission that I offer, just as an energy conduit. That's the transmission I offer. I don't do really specific types of things like a lot of people who are teachers. They offer very specific types of containers and things like that. But because I'm just starting, my ministry, and I'm just starting to put myself out there as a minister and what that calling as a minister does and how you move. Still trying to kind of translate from how the Christian world sees ministry to how I'm doing this as a pagan, and as a non-denominational minister. I guess I could say as a pagan high priestess, and then as a non-denominational minister. But I come from paganism. I don't come from any of the other phrases that people use to talk about magic and the goddess and things, and that a lot of people are familiar with. I don't. My approach to a lot of things is that it's paganism, and so in paganism we are taught full circle. Everything is full circle, and we're always analyzing things based on the cycle of life as we experience it with the seasons. And so all of those teachings are affect what I'm doing. That's how I'm approaching life. It's this constant analysis of the personal harmony based on how the natural world has taught us to be, and then using that as a reflection for introspection about what is being invited in, how are we being invited to shift and grow, you know? And so that's like in a nutshell, like what a pagan training did for me for spiritual development, and as it affected the way that I think, because a lot of people say they're witches, and a lot of people do like verbal spells, and they do video. I've seen a couple of that, and I'm like, a lot of people are coming into magic from a place of commodification, you know. And so my approach to it might be a little different, and it might seem strange for people or whatever, and different because I have a movement based approach, to paganism, neo paganism as a movement, the goddess spirituality movement. So everything I do is, I have been taught to think of everything I do as part of that. So everything that I'm doing is a part of me living goddess teachings about what my responsibilities are as a mother, living the archetype of the archetypal teachings of the mother, and also making sure that, for instance, my daughter is able to know the teachings of the maiden, the mother, and the crone, so that she can cultivate herself in a way that she takes care of herself and understands what's going on for her through her own spiritual experiences and through her own experiences of spiritual reality, um, so that she can mature into a fully a full human being who is expressing as a woman, as a female. And it's really important, for us to have those experiences. And so, um, and my son, it's important for him to understand what his aggression is to be, how his aggression is to be used, and what is healthy and unhealthy, and how he is, one, expressing his aggression, and also preparing to express his aggression, you know so um those are all really critical pieces that I am making sure to protect. And so, um the key, bringing it back around to children and family services, the key is that every time I talk to this guy, I'm always listening to what he's going through. And it's very illuminating, and it's very humbling. And he makes every effort to be as clear with me as he possibly can, because I like to challenge people on the envelope, push the envelope, watch it bend, you know. Tool is where I got that quote from. You know. But I have to ask questions, Spirit tells me, excuse me, you have a voice and you must use it. So I have to ask questions. And when the questions come in, and so I asked him some questions. And those were the questions that I sat down to ask him. And the questions that I asked him were about, I said something about how how they come in and they have all this authority and they don't know us. And that I would like to be able to actually get to know these people who come in and interact with us and affect our relationships with our children and affect our relationships within our families. And these people come in with all this authority. We should get to know them. I wish we could actually get to know these people, because you know what? Out here in this county, every worker I have met, they really care. They have good training. They have good training out here. I have been able to really challenge the workers out here, because they've shown that this county has shown that they're really invested in people by the structures that they have, like um, for the welfare to work program, with the worker, you know, um, the way that I challenged her, and the way she responded, that was good training. She had good training, and I feel very good about it. I feel very good about me being able to have conversations with people where I can challenge them about the rules that are in place right now that do not offer me any of the support that I need, while I am trying to meet the requirements for their program. And so I've really been preparing the field and talking with my council and connecting with the energy and looking at things, because you know uh, I have to help her to be in a space of receptivity to a larger picture, because the way that the way that it's structured right now, they don't offer any rewards for good behavior. And of course they're like, why would we do that? Well, um I don't need to tell you that. If I do, just go study some basic psychology. Okay, human psychology, people. Okay, and rewards are required for motivation of positive behavior. It's positive reinforcement, people. It's basic psychology, and it don't change once we're no longer children. It's the same basic thing that happens in our brains, and so I mean, because I've used it, to motivate myself to do things. So, and that's where I got it from. So there is no structure in place for startups and for entrepreneurs. So they have like a couple of like little things, like little cool, like little knockoffs, like a write off for you if you have made a certain amount of money from your business. Like to forgive you, to some credit thing that they let you keep getting money from the county. That's what they do, right? But aside from that, it's just the resources for applying for jobs. So I'm okay with that. But like with the economy the way it is, and with the stats and the statistics being the way they are, it's more financially secure. It's a better financial decision for me to be working on building my business while my children are toddlers. Because if I'm really honestly looking at the facts about my life, and I'm really honestly um, making a decision about my health and the health of my children as a result of my health, right? If I'm really making that assessment, the best thing for me to do in this economy, with the lack of DEI, with the urgent need for DEI everywhere, and snail's pace that people move at for change, when it's coming, when it's coming in a certain manner than people are used to. It's a snail's pace changing, you know but when you can just start something new, and then you can build that, then the change happens faster because you're building the culture from the ground up rather than trying to change the culture, that already exists. And so what happens is, then instead of having to force that part to change, you inspire the change by showing that the solutions work and that they're viable, as they say, because we need the proof. So inspired action, and focus on the physical for the proof of everything is a funny one. We're like, I can't until I see the proof. I need the proof, and it's got to be in the physical, But one of the oh god, it's what I do. I'm very good at making fun of the ego in specific ways, and a lot of people get like hurt and stuff, but it's one of the gentlest ways that you can just like ping a part of the mind that just needs to be like, oh, I'm not in hiding. I'm actually not in hiding. Hi, So, um, okay. I am not about to record an hour-long video, but this is basically going to be an hour-long conversation. I could tell because about the next thing that wants to come in, and it's another super personal thing. So I'm gonna make this like a dot dot dot, because the next video that I'm getting ready to post, it's gonna be about something else, and I recognize there's a lot that I could share about my experiences so far, you know. But what I really wanted to share was that one of the intentions that I carry when I talk to people, because of everything that's going on, because of the intense and because of the intensification of negative thought bodies, the amplification of negative thought bodies. Um, what I have observed, real quick, I was also asked to share this. What I have observed is that because I did not, I completely, I completely unplugged from all mass media at the very beginning, before, like, at the very beginning, like when Trump's run for bid for election, like that he was going to start running for election. When that first started getting press, and then I started to watch these the momentum build up over a couple of months around the things, and it wasn't the things he was talking about, because I don't pay attention to politics like that. It was more of like the social justice people that I was paying attention to. Um, they were really deeply like galvanized, or you know what I mean, like crystallized, like really whatever that word is. Like to the other side, that kind of stuff. But beside that, there was also just this, like, for me, when I felt the energy and looked at the energy, what it was for me was what I saw was that it was just a bunch of triggering experiences for people of color and underrepresented people. And I saw that was about to be like the norm, that was about to be what was going to happen, because they were going in on like children in detention and then stuff. And I was like, oh no, this is terrible. Like anybody in their right mind knows better. Like I don't want to hear that. Like I know that's just straightly like BS. Like the whole Hollywood in the media, and the jokes on people for letting ourselves get caught up in the emotional crap that they pull for manipulation purposes, just to pump up that energy field and get you, like, I really saw that. I really saw that. And for my own, honestly, because I saw what it was about to do to all the community orgs, that all the people that I had to just step out, because you're not about to tell me that I'm the problem. Like, I'm working so hard on integrating all these teachings I'm learning about what's going on and what community is. Like, I learned so much about community. And then after I graduated, it was like, wow. And then Trump wanted to do his thing, and I was like, oh God, let me. I will gladly go on a siesta. I will gladly go back into my pagan hermitage and my sanctuary, my ritual sanctuary, where I do my pagan stuff, and always kept my practice personal. And I'm just gonna do that because that makes more sense than any of this other stuff, So I really want to share that with you, because what I was asked to convey was that I avoided all that, and that what I'm seeing now, as I was very extremely careful what information I exposed myself to about COVID. I was extremely careful. And I think it's really important, because people overestimate or underestimate the impact of the news media on your mind. A lot of people live with a lot of stuff that I just think is completely unnecessary. As I'm talking to more people, like, being open to connecting rather than being shut off. Okay. And as I'm doing that, I'm really feeling like how people have just been bamboozled into all kinds of stuff, like those fear bodies, basically, you know, and it's all because people were brought into all that stuff in that time during those years, and then it's just continued to amplify. And that's a message that's been given. You got to be careful about what you watch. You really do, because there's all you don't need it. You really don't need it. I survived, and I was good. I was better. Like, I don't like being on media like this. I don't. But I'm doing it because it's the only way to connect with people who don't live next to me. Because this is the only avenue that has been made easily available to all of us. So I'm here, you know. Um, so this is a good ripe time to pause this, and see you in the next video. Rev Ma out. This is the signature sounds so cool, right? Rev Ma.